My mic isn't muted, so I don't know.
Hey guys, what up? We're live. This is going to be the first edition of hopefully many of the round table with the two loudmouths, me and Court. And the fourth and 15, we got Smooth, Mel.
What's up, everybody?
Wow.
Special
What's up,
guest on
everybody? I
with
hope
us
everybody's
tonight.
staying safe.
Time is running out because the virus is still spreading.
This guy with his pretty old little mask on.
Hey, man, you got to stay safe during quarantine time.
I guess.
Wow. Well, we like to start it off. We got a very special guest, arena legend in the AFL, Atu Molden, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show.
Man, what's up, fellas?
How's it going, guys?
All right. Now, if I remember correctly, Atu, you went to Montana, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what was that like for you? Because like the Big Sky Conference and schools of the WAC and all of that, they weren't getting notoriety like that, but you guys were still running roughshod. So what was that like for you, your time there going towards, your senior year? Because last time when I saw you, it was your senior year, and I think you had set like 3 receiver records. What was that like for you, your experiences at Montana?
Man, so the years before I was on defense when I started, and then my roommate moved to offense. My roommate was Yo Humphrey, the running back.
Oh wow.
And so I was still his playbook and shit, and I worked my way over to offense because I was jealous, man. I always wanted to be a receiver. Since watching Jerry Rice and all that shit. But I was playing defense. I was playing corner and safety. But then I think it was my third year, they put me in the offense, and then we had a group of receivers. But then coming into my senior year, I was pretty much the only one. And everybody else was kind of a complete different level. So I got to really shine my senior year.
All right. My other question was, while you were there, do you remember what was the games or the plays that you remember that like are just embedded in your head, like games you will never forget?
Oh man, all the games against Sac State were pretty good. Had some friends on the team, so there was a little personal rivalry going on. Caught a couple game winners against them. And then the Portland State games, I was going up with Rasheed Floyd, and we was always going at it. So those are real fun. Obviously, the championship game we lost, I really liked that one better than the one we won when we played Georgia Southern. I wanted to play them again so bad. I wanted to run that shit back even after we won the championship, man. That shit was personal, man. The boys came, they played good, and it was love afterwards. You know what I mean? When you play somebody real hard, and then but it's all just in the game. It was like one of them games, man. I enjoyed playing that game.
Those have to be the best games.
Yeah, they are, because you everybody. Like, we, believe it or not, me and Ronnie in high school, we used to play against Glenville and see guys that we was just hanging with last semester.
Right. Oh yeah.
Now, the question I have for you, because I heard about this, but I didn't think it was true until I read up on it. How did you get the name the Sacramento Killer?
Pretty much from killing Sac State every year we played them. Something happened, something crazy happened. I catch a couple overtime touchdowns. Game they had in their hands, they were supposed to win. They like clucked that shit off. It just seemed every so often that when Sac State came up, I just played big. Even when we played them here at home, went off for like 150 yards in the first half and sat it down.
Wow.
And then it was kind of one of them things where it was personal. You know what I mean? Because when I was here in Sacramento, I got hurt in my senior year of playing, so everybody like stopped recruiting me. But even Sac State wasn't recruiting me, so I was like, "How's Montana gonna offer me? And you ain't even been talking to me. I'm literally right down the street. Oh no, I got something for you."
I can understand that wholeheartedly. That is completely understandable.
Yeah, that chip on your shoulder definitely adds some gas.
Definitely, and I'm the last one they needed to add gas to because I was already coming in ready to go.
But you know what? He's absolutely right because that's not fair. Like you always, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it was Ronnie. You, you always look to your hometown. Like here in Cleveland, we've got I want to say 5 colleges in the area, and all of them host football. And they always picking some dude from Florida first or from Cali. Like, yo, right here. Why not me? So I can completely.
It's unbelievable.
All right, you transition from college, and you wind up in the AFL. Now, what was your experience? Your first thought, rather, going into your first season in the Arena League?
That was pretty funny because actually, I mean, I was just so nervous. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know, like, as far as drug testing, whatnot. So I was just playing it straight up. And then when I went there, I basically was 2 years out of football because I didn't get signed right away after college. I was just kind of milling around, trying to get an NFL job, trying to get a CFL job, just trying to go anywhere. So when I went there, I was basically on my last little dollars in my pocket, man. So it was like, look, you don't have to get up out my way and make room for me on the squad. You're gonna have to do something to cut me because I basically packed all my shit in my car and moved to Chicago, ready to go. You know what I mean? So it was just clawing and scratching really the whole way. But that's kind of what the AFL about. Everybody in there clawing and scratching and just trying to get it. It was an awesome experience, to be honest with you. I mean, football is football. The boys can get it just like anybody else.
Right. Oh, yeah. Now, I hope I got this information right because this was, arena football is my thing. You led the league in your rookie season and your sophomore season in receiving. And I remember, I don't know if I got it, if it was that game against Georgia, the Confetti Bowl, where y'all basically had the game won and then they gave Georgia untimed down or whatever it was. Were you mad at that, or were you just like, yeah, I'm going to see y'all again next season? Because I remember that. I felt like y'all got cheated a little bit.
It just kind of is what it is. You play the game enough, you get some stuff that goes in your favor too. Of course, you don't like it, especially when it happens in a big time game. I think that also happened to us in against the SaberCats one year as well. So just kind of one of those things. You get a phantom hold here. You think the odds are against you, but I mean, shit, that's just football, man. It just is what it is. You obviously can't be mad at the players involved, right? They ain't got nothing to do with it.
It was their field. I'm gonna take it out on them. George, you know.
Oh yeah.
102-30. I still ain't over that.
Dude, shit, 102-30.
Man, look,
that's a thumb.
I think I received triple-digit scores.
Listen. We came in out of that whole roster for that game. Only 6-7 of us really had arena experience. So it was the 6 or 7 of us that had to say, all right, look, we know it's not going to go the way you think it's going to go, but you might want to, show them you're not scared. At least do that. Play for some pride. And I remember telling Coach Layata, hey, look, man, one way or another, I'm going to score a touchdown against your defense. I did. I paid for it.
And I almost felt bad playing that game because you guys literally had guys coming out of the stands trying to play that game.
Man, y'all killed our quarterback, dude. You literally killed our quarterback. He came out with broken ribs. A compressed spine. Like, come on, man. Like, we had to do something.
I mean, we had a filthy defense.
Seeing that part of the game was pretty interesting, man. The line play, because guys could basically just one step and start reaching for the quarterback. I got to imagine that'd be nerve-wracking as hell.
Oh yeah, man. Then y'all had the dude that came back with who did the Uncle Phil to the other dude and over the wall who got suspended for 2 games. Like, man, y'all had too much on that defense. That was rude.
Oh, that was probably D'Angelo, probably.
I
He was
believe so.
known for trying to take guys over the boards.
D'Angelo looked like he needed to be drug tested at least once or twice during a game.
During a game.
He ate
Man,
plates.
look, man, they had big
I love my
linebackers.
man.
I literally, if there was a record for that game, I literally held the record for being the smallest person on the field. Like it was crazy. But I digress. I'm watching Arena Bowl 20, and this was you guys as a team. This was the Rush's first trip to the Arena Bowl in their existence, outside of the original Chicago team that started with the league starting up. Were you nervous going into that game, or were you just happy to be in the championship?
I'm just happy to finally make it past the Saber Cats or Colorado or whoever else was getting in our way, because we had been the 2 years previous to that and not really got over that hump. So being there, it was just ready to go.
Yeah, because I hated San Jose too. Now I'm gonna apologize because I watched damn near from the time I was like 4 or 5 up until they shut it down. I was an arena kid. So I'm going to apologize to you ahead of time, because watching the games where they showed Chicago Rush games, I hated you.
Oh, yeah. I would have hated me too.
The commentators will always call you Mr. Reliable. It's true. I'm just being honest, man. They would call you Mr. Reliable because, like, on a third down or a second down and long, you would always end up with the ball in your hands. And I'm just like, man, I know y'all see him. He ain't invisible. Just grab his hair. Do something. And I just wanted to know, like, out of your years playing in the arena, were you ever the target of, like, he got to go, like, get him out the game by anybody that you know of?
I don't know. I mean, I probably should have been. And I played the game like I already was. So if you wasn't, you might as well had been if you had to go against me, because I was coming for you. That's for sure.
All right.
I mean, that's the only way you can play, to be honest with you, especially if I got to imagine as an offensive threat, I was a target a lot. So in order to counteract that, I'm going to try to get you first. And if you get me, I'm not going to be mad. As a matter of fact, I'm going to try to get up first and laugh in your face so you don't think I'm crazy or some shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because they did show you laughing at McIntyre, who was, like, arguably one of the best defensive backs. And you caught a pass in the first quarter and started laughing at it. And I was just like, man, it's this dude.
The hard part, too, back then, trying to target people, playing Iron Man style football, you got to flip the script and you got to go tag somebody else.
Oh, yeah.
That's the ultimate get back, if you ask me.
I actually didn't like when they started changing the league into more offensive and defensive. You know, they started adding the offensive specialists where you didn't have one, you had two, and then they stopped having the rules changes because you had to be sly as a coach too. You had to know, who did I just put in? Shit, am I gonna burn this dude for the rest of the half? Or so they completely changed the game and really how it was.
Yeah, I didn't like a lot of those rules either. I think they should have kept it Iron Man, not for. I mean, I get it. It was for safety reasons, from what I was told. But at the same time, that's what made the game fun to watch. Like you, Barry Wagner, Cleveland Thomas, you guys were like ultimate Iron Man. Like, they couldn't tell y'all nothing. And to see them change it, it was like, why? Why do you need to change anything that's already working? I didn't understand it. Were there any favorite teams that you went against that you just like, whether you won or lost,
Colorado,
you just loved playing them? Colorado
all the time. It's always fun, especially playing in Colorado. Air gets thin. Seemed like the ball just travels easier. Everything is easier. But we had some rivalries with them too. And then I was able to go against Damian Harrell on the other side. So I got to be off watching him or chasing him around and then getting ready to go duplicate that shit when I got back out there, because I wasn't ever trying to let anybody outdo me on the other team. Right. I was trying to be the best receiver every game. You know what I mean? Like, no matter what happened. So when I went against the bigger receivers, it was always a chance to really get out there and compete.
All right, I'm gonna bring a little throwback out. I don't know if you've had this. I don't know if you've seen it in a while. Do you have this, or
Is
have
that
you
the
played
original
this?
arena game, a football game?
Yes, yes.
Oh man, yeah, that's a
I
good
wish
game. I
they would
don't have it anymore
remaster
though.
that.
Did you ever play with Chicago players yourself? Because
Of
most
course,
guys would say
I
they
mean,
don't.
you have to. No, you have to. Why not?
I just
First thing you
figured
do when
I'd
you turn
ask.
on the game.
Yeah, 'cause
I wish they had took a little bit more time with the game and made it better though.
yeah, 'cause it was the end zone celebrations and things like that. They could have did a little bit better with, but I just figured I'd bring a throwback in there, see if you ever played with the team or with yourself, or as yourself rather.
Yeah, you remember the game NFL Blitz?
Yeah.
So when I was in Chicago, I did some motion capture work for them. That was fun,
Really?
man. Oh yeah,
That's
running
cool.
and putting all the little dinks on and jumping, doing catches.
That's what's up. Now, I wanted to know, when you won the Arena Bowl, what was going through your head as y'all, y'all basically stomped Orlando. I hated y'all for that too, but what was it like for you to hoist the trophy up? Because I know it had to be a great feeling.
It's good, but even championships are just always bittersweet, no matter if you win or lose, because you don't get to play next week. I was always one of them guys that wanted to play next week. So it's finally, you feel like you did the accomplishment though. That's what you're there for, right? Tony Dungy tells us you're there to win the games. Like, that's what that shit's about. So when you win the championship, that's the ultimate success of the season. But ultimately, man, I was pretty much like with any other game. I celebrate that shit for a night, get ready for next season.
I'm just like, this was, for me, this was an honor, because like, as me and George playing indoor football, I had one shot with the Destroyers, but just to play, it was like, you don't get no better than this. So for me, this was an honor. I don't know if Ronnie or the other guys got any questions, but this is awesome.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, man,
It's
it's always good.
It's a pleasure having you, bro. And it's just good to be able to actually interact with someone from the league. I know for me, I only had the opportunity to be able to like watch it, like when they had the inaugural season when the Gladiators moved from Las Vegas to Cleveland, and back in '07, I got a chance to be there for that, but never got a chance to really interact with anybody from the league, so it was pretty cool. So I definitely appreciate you coming on the show. Only had a couple questions, really, just some things that I was trying to think of. If you could tell me, while playing arena football, what was your most memorable game and why?
Probably a game we played in Vegas. It was like one of the last games at that Thomas and Mack Center when they played there during their regular season games. Caught one off the net in the game, put them away. That was pretty fun. That was my first one off the net.
That's dope. That's dope. And also looking back on that time frame, man, not necessarily with just arena ball, but like in general, your whole football career, is there anything that you would have done differently?
Probably, yeah. I probably would have mind my P's and Q's a little bit more, not put stuff in people's faces so much. Like when I was in college, running around, and I was doing crazy things. Had a dog in my dorm, had a waterbed in my dorm room, basically blowing before I went to practice, putting things in people's faces that really didn't need to be there.
Wait, you had a water
couple
bed?
Times. Oh yeah,
I won't let that ride, man. I won't even go.
Let me tell you this story though. So I had a waterbed and a dog in my dorm room.
The dog I can understand.
Oh, let me hit mute for this one. I need to hear all this.
Yeah, man, that was one of those things. People were like, "Come on, man, you're trying to put a waterbed in the dorm?" I'm like, "Yeah, man, we'll just sneak it in at night. I get it filled up." And my thing was in college, just if you don't ask them, just do it until they tell you no.
you got a point,
especially in Montana, because we were pretty much like, if you go to Montana, you're on a football team. Yeah, that's like, I mean, you might as well be on the Green Bay Packers, man. So let's just push it and then see how far we can push. Did all kind of stuff, crazy stuff like that, man. But in the long run, you know what I mean? Maybe some of that stuff didn't help me as much. You never know who's watching, who's talking to who. And I think I got looked over for a few things, you know what I mean, by some scouts and shit. And I can't really say that's it, but I did my fair share of kind of pushing the envelope on the outside of the fucking football field.
I appreciate your honesty, man. Thanks for sharing.
That waterbed thing got me thinking, like, how much did you really get away with?
Like I said, it was like Green Bay Packers, man. You're pretty much Green Bay Packers if you go to University of Montana.
I can believe that because it's Montana. It really ain't nothing out there, so football is all they got. But just to hear that story, you just like, you wonder where like campus security is watching you get away with a bed in the dorm.
Well, see, that wasn't like it. It's weird to think that was 20 years ago, right? So 20 years ago ain't like it is today. There's not really campus security like that. Yeah. There's not even really social media. There's nothing. So we were able to get away with a lot more that the next generation wasn't able to get away with.
Yeah,
that's true. Very true.
So while we on the subject of college, the state of college football now, are you a fan of it as you used to be? Are you a bigger fan with all the rule changes, the implementation of the playoff? Have you been back to Montana to the school to see anything?
I went back to Montana for our 10th anniversary of the championship to hang out. We did like a little coin toss and stuff. So I went back then. Probably go back here pretty soon, maybe for the 20th anniversary coming up. Just check it out. I know they've built a lot of stuff. They got a new jumbotron, and just from what I see from being in the different college places I've been in, they have like more stuff. It's like they've been, at least with the tradition, I'm seeing that they're building things and the players are getting more stuff. But with the amount of money that some of these colleges are making, man, they got to figure out a way to get players something, at least to where they own their own likeness, and whether if you're gonna literally make money off them, you should be paying them. You know what I mean? At least like a minimum wage, because you guys know what it is when you're out there playing. You're working just like everybody else, even most times more than getting up at 6 to do the weight room thing, and then you do the school thing, and then you do the practice thing. And I mean, you know, the scholarship is good, but you're not really paying them guys to go to school. You're paying them guys to play football. Let's just, you know, I think at some point they have to be real about it with the billions of dollar industries that things have become. This isn't the 90s where you can claim you broke. Like these kids all deserve something, but then the football players have to be willing to make sacrifice too if they're gonna make it work. Because if you're gonna pay college players, you're gonna have to share some with the rest of the players. So you're gonna have to figure out a wage that everybody can make. It's a nice chunk of the pie, in other words. So if they got like 40% of the income from all the sports and they divvy that up between the players, that'd be the way they need to go. And it's coming soon enough with social media and the way people are getting together. You're not going to be able to stop it. I mean, it's just these colleges are making a lot of money, and it's visible.
Yeah, especially, again, what we're going through right now with the whole coronavirus. Again, more and more numbers keep coming out the closer we get to fall. And again, it's wild whenever they finally start putting in black and white how much most of these D1 programs are making off of TV deals and sponsor deals. Again, we were talking about it the other night. They're talking about just losing fans is going to cost them some $60 million. So, I mean, you split that up across the sports world. I mean, that's a nice chunk of change. And like you said, and you brought it up and you led it right into kind of where I think me and Mel were both looking at. Again, players being able to use their own likeness. I think it's 2021 they're allowing that now. Again, it's definitely going to be a thing of a change. and you can't just sit there and, like you said, oh, we're broke. We can't be playing these guys. It's not that world anymore.
And they're paying coaches not multiple $1 million contracts. So I mean, if you're going to pay coaches like that, like pay the players too. Why not? You can figure it out.
Truth be told, it's always been like that in my book because you're making money off tickets, concessions. I've seen jerseys. Is being honest, even in the AFL, I've seen your jersey on many a fan in Chicago. So it's like I don't understand why you can't pay these guys, or at least give them a trust fund, something to where they are set when they graduate, because not everybody's going to make it pro. So they got to have something to fall back on too. And I think this was a good push, and it needed to be done because as players, you, me, Ronnie, George, we put our bodies on the line. It's stressful at times. Injuries happen. And I could never understand why they just didn't say, all right, you know what, you're right. Instead of fighting it, I don't understand why they didn't just say, you guys are right. Because players are right. You're making money off the sweat of us. I know.
Well, it's the football union is probably like one of the weaker unions as far as what they can get done. And it's simply because if you really work hard enough, we can find a spot for you on a football field. And a coach will get you if he thinks he's got a guy that's just that much better than you or that much less than you, but he can save $20,000. Like that's how they do it. So football players have a strange niche. We're not the baseball player, you know what I mean, who can it's only so many guys who can throw a ball 100 miles an hour. So there's a lot of guys that are trying to play receiver. And then when you also have 60-man roster, something like that, there's just a lot more bodies, so they treat us like we're worth less.
Yeah, we definitely saw that in the NFL numbers this year.
Man, don't even get started on that.
They do running backs like that all the time. They'll give them 40 carries a year, and then they get old and they use them up because your body only has so many tackles, so many shots it's going to take. No matter who you are, the more you get hit, the less you're going to go. And that might have been, actually getting back to your question before, that might have been something I'd have changed a little bit too. I would have played the game a little less physical. Because the way I played, when I look at it from the owner's perspective or the coach's perspective, they're like, hell yeah, I can get that guy to do a lot of shit that other people won't do. He'll make that block that the other receivers won't make, and I'll just use him up. But in the long haul, is he going to be around for 5 years, 10 years? Like, no, he ain't going to be around that long, being 200 pounds and just taking on everybody. But it was fun, so that's just the way I like to play the game. But I probably would have done something differently, just a business-wise, from being a little less physical.
Yeah, that definitely is a catch-22 while you're in the moment.
Yeah. But for some of us, in the end, it's worth it. I can honestly say I had a good career. I'm not mad about anything I did. I would have not played so reckless as a youngin, but I still had fun. Oh man, I need to tell you, I was a jerk, man. Especially when it came to rivalry games, I was a jerk.
Oh, rivalry games are the worst.
Like when we saw, because like when we were growing up, we had to see Glenville, and this was at a time where you saw Pierre Woods, Ted, Cardell, Jones. I'm missing some people off the top of my head, but
they had Ginn and Whitney at the same time too.
Yeah. See,
that was ridiculous.
You and the pep rally gets you all hyped, you ready to go, and then you end up looking at the scoreboard. It's 65-0. Man, I had to go out. I had to make an impact somehow, man. Give me a thumbtack, a gut punch, or something. Stick in his eye. Them rivalry games for us was real. You saw the same dude that was just kicking it with you in the study hall last semester, Now he didn't transfer. And it was rough for us. I don't know about everybody else, but we didn't have a good luxury.
But you know what, man? We were loyal to a fault because I know there was a lot of cats trying to jump ship. You know, they couldn't beat them, so they figured they'd join them. And we wasn't about that, man. We was like, this is where we at. This is who we gonna ball with. And that's how it went down. Looking back, to be honest, I probably would have still done that. I can't say I would have transferred still. Keep looking back.
I would say if I had the choice, I probably would have, but I didn't. So, Railroaders for life. We in this together.
All day, baby.
Yeah, again, you talk to football guys all the time. Most will say maybe I would have calmed down a little bit physical just so their body weren't beat up now. But again, through the times that beating the hell out of each other and then not being able to walk till like Tuesday afternoon, I'll take it.
It's actually kind of unbelievable now looking at it like that. Like, how did I get up after all those times and just keep on playing? Because now at 40, I'll have a couple of those days where I'm like, damn, I can go out there and do that shit again. And I'm running routes and running 40s. And then the next day, I'm like, man, I didn't even get hit by nobody. And this is incredible.
That day
honestly, after this year, because this year wasn't even, this year was like the lightest year for me. Well, this past season was the lightest I had ever played. Like, not really putting my body through stress or anything like that. And a part of me, like everybody else, a part of me is saying, yeah, let's do it one more time. And I wake up in the morning just waking up, and it's like, I don't know about that one, man. Might want to rethink your strategy on that, because your back's saying it ain't gonna happen.
Yeah, I always think about strapping it up one more time just so my daughters could see me play, and then I put in a bathroom floor, and I can't walk for 2 days. I'm good. I'm good.
I love my kids. I love all my kids, but if you didn't see me when you got here, that's it. You can see it on film. Everything you need to know about me as a player is right on YouTube.
Yeah.
I wonder, because I know everybody doesn't do it the same, but do you still keep all the trophies and stuff that you won? Is it a man cave like everybody else's, or you just put it up in the wall somewhere wherever it goes?
They're kind of tucked away in different little places. No real like super extravagant kind of showcase, but there's places that kind of has it up. Let me go see if I can kind of show it to you guys. It doesn't have everything though, because unfortunately, you know how your fingers get fat. You get those football fingers.
Oh man!
So I've lost pretty much every ring I ever had.
That sucks.
Oh man, that's heartbreaking.
I used to wear them, and I'd be wearing them like downtown and just doing dumb shit. Let's see. So we got that. Can y'all see that?
Woo!
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Nice.
That's a hell of a case, man.
Right.
Got the little copy of the Arena Bowl trophy.
Yeah, because that
cool.
big one is huge.
Yeah, that one's dope. It's like a little replica copy though.
That's like because the original is like 190 pounds. Who want to lift that up and playing for 4 quarters?
Right. You like,
Right.
Like I've seen that up close. That is not a trophy. Golden Gloves?
So that's the recent hobby right there. I've been boxing now for about on and off about 6 years.
Okay. I can
okay.
see it now. Atu, what else do you do for a living? I knock people out.
Oh man.
That's awesome.
Kind of the next best thing to do when you can't play football anymore.
Right.
Yeah, because everybody's looking at me crazy now because I said I wanted to get into the ring. I wanted to get my Macho Man on. It's like, why? I do something to keep active.
Yeah.
Even if you don't fight, it's good to get in shape.
Yeah, it's great cardio.
Nothing like trying to keep somebody off your ass, I like to say.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Now, as a player, was there any on the road stories you can actually tell that won't get you in trouble? Like pranks that y'all pulled on some of the coaches or anything like that?
I mean, there were things that went on, but mostly it just involved guys that like to go out. You know, you go out, you get drunk, you get in trouble, you come home, do some crazy stuff. But I was pretty much all business, man, while I was playing. So I'd go in the room, turn on a movie, go to sleep, take a little walk around the place, find a place to eat. I was pretty much ready and get ready to go the next day. So
They sound like
I
me.
kind of was away from a lot of the shenanigans.
Business trip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did want to know this because this was interesting to me. When you were in Chicago, Mike Hohensee was your coach. What was it like to know that your coach threw the first touchdown pass in arena football history?
That's pretty awesome. I mean, you're not going to get much of a better teacher than the guy who threw the first pass ever. And just, it was fortunate being around him, man, because you only get so many of those coaches that put in the work. And much respect to him, man. Me and him are still friends today because he put in the work. Like, there was no shortchanging at all. When you knew you went in prepared with everything that you should be. So yeah, he was one of my better coaches.
That's what's up. Yeah, because I don't know, maybe it's just me, but he kind of looked like, when you actually take a look at it, he kind of looked like the commissioner that was in semi-pro. That was one that was always talking to Jackie Moon when they was trying to reach the NBA. I didn't want to say that if I ever met him, but just know that he does look like him.
Oh man.
It's no coincidence. I think that might be the same person. But no, seriously though, this I just like, it's fun to talk to you guys because not only because you guys there, but y'all got to see it from a bigger perspective and a bigger stage than most of us. And that's not a knock against anybody else. For those that are watching, it's not a knock against you guys. It's always good to have insight from somebody who was there. And I was just like talking to you these past couple of days.
I think the years I was there was at its biggest.
Yeah, because you guys had just got
right before.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the league had just got to deal with NBC, so all the games were on NBC. The commentary sucked, but that's their fault.
Now, how bad did that hurt whenever, again, it went down in 2008, right? So you were probably flying high, coming off of 3-4 good years, and then they just had to shut that shit down because, again, however you look at it, either bad money management or, again, getting too big too quick.
I think really it was a little bit just outreaching where we were at the time and getting too big too quick. Should have done something a little more differently when you think about the football situation. It's tough to have another football business because the NFL is so big. But at the time, we had our little niche and we were staying in our lane. And it was perfect. And then they started adding on, trying to things and twerk a little bit here. And, okay, we're going to make 2 offensive specialists so guys aren't playing as much. Nah, like, they missed out. They started missing the forest through the trees. You know what I mean? People like that shit.
Yeah.
People want to see this brand of football.
Right.
And you guys probably know, like, there's a couple of NFL guys that come to a camp, get that ass washed just the same as anybody else. So again, you had good competition.
Yeah, man. Especially during, still, again, even with the AFL folding, but all the smaller leagues still around. Again, anybody that would ever ask me about how I like playing indoor ball, arena ball, it was a whole different beast. I contribute what you guys were able to do as wide receivers. I mean, trying to get that pass and either look for that hit on the wall or duck that hit on the wall.
Oh, I don't know how many
We all
times I
joke
ran into the
about
wall.
that
I went over it.
wall is undefeated.
Yeah, I was telling George before the show started.
I will say this: the wall on the field when the lights are on is undefeated, but I have seen a wall go down.
Because I was just telling George, like, when he played in Erie and we went out there, that wall that they have, because they have rounded out end zones, and I hated those. Like, I need space. And the catch, you're going to catch a pass, and then all of a sudden you get cut off right as you're touching the ball. Hey, that's not fair. Like, I hate those kind of walls.
It don't take you long to learn where it's at.
Oh yeah,
that is true. That is true.
You go over a couple times, you know it's there.
But
that's still my favorite YouTube clip of all time was whenever T.O. was having his issue and he went down to New Mexico, and I think it was like the first game they played. Somebody from the other team put him over the boards quick. Just
they was trying to make
lay that.
I remember that. They was trying to make a point with that.
I never saw T.O. play the little indoor deal, man.
He went down.
He played for the New Mexico Stars.
No, it was the Austin. I think it was Austin because Tim Brown owned the team.
Oh, no, it was Austin. They were playing
he went
the
down,
Stars.
Right after he left the Cowboys, he hooked up with Tim Brown. Tim Brown had owned the team, and he came in, and I guess he thought he was going to do the same things, and put him on that wall quick. And I was like, ooh.
Found out real quick. You can get that wall too.
I'll have to post that video later. It was bad. They put him over quick.
Well, shit, I would have too. Matter of fact, they just showed you catching one off the wall. Now it was a goal line situation, off the net.
I mean, you got to think that's a personal highlight for sure. Everybody was. Now I bet you he had a target on his back that day. Every time he went out there, they was like, "Yo, I'm putting T.O. over the wall." Bet you don't. Bet I do.
Now, since we're talking about this and reliving memories, I do have a question. What's the worst arena you've played in? Like the one you just absolutely hate?
Oh, the worst. Now, we talking arena football or just football, period?
Okay, let's say this. Worst field you played on in college, and then the worst arena you played in your time in the Arena League.
All right, so Portland had this the Portland State team had this place. It was like just terrible. It was like it was like right the last field before they got rid of that old school turf. And it was a baseball field, so it was like that hard shit. And it was the last year they had the field, so the field was completely worn out, and it was pretty much on top of concrete. Got my worst concussion ever on that one, hitting the back of my head on that shit.
Oh man!
And you could like see through the field, and then it had the dirt part too. And you know how the dirt part? I don't know. Well, I used to watch Jerry Rice and then when they played in Candlestick, right? And the dirt part looked cool and shit. The dirt part sucked. It was like that hard clay with the rocks in it. So yeah, that was probably the worst field I played on.
Man, worst turf burn ever.
Yeah,
man, don't talk. Y'all turf wasn't bad. Y'all turf was terrible in Erie, man. That turf had been reused and reused. It was like
I forget. I can't even remember the team's name that they stole that off of. Actually, they probably had to pay them people to get that turf.
They didn't pay them. It was the Erie River Rats. I remember it because they still had the little rat looking thing. Man, they still had the little rat looking logo that y'all couldn't scrape off, man. But I just wanted to know who had the worst places you've ever played in, because I could tell you some places that I played in. Like Erie had a nice arena and the turf wasn't bad. It was just old. Now, George, you can attest to this. When you go down to Marion
was bad, but nothing was worse than EKY. down in Evansville, Kentucky. Or no, Pikeville, Kentucky. Man, that was made off. Be lucky you never played down there. I've never seen the worst turf. It was like they took scrap pieces from every high school around the area and just stitched that shit together. And then threw the little black pellets on it and just said, fuck it, let's go. Like, there was parts of, like, field turf. There was parts of AstroTurf. That shit was so fucky. Jesus God. You couldn't, like, I swear, when the first time I went down there, and, like, again, you know how some, like, cheaper arena teams, like, they have, like, the field turf where you actually need cleats? Those were them. But then you try to walk back to the locker room, and then you're falling on your ass because your cleats are sliding on the, like, waxed floors.
Oh, man.
It was the worst. That was probably the worst arena I've ever played in. The arena was gorgeous, actually. The field was just atrocious.
Now, I'm not gonna say the arena was bad, but playing down in Marion was not what I thought it was. Like,
no, Marion was hysterical because it was a
a rodeo arena.
Auction house. Yeah, and they had fucking 8-foot walls.
No, we're not making
even watch the game if you're
serious.
Yeah, we can't make this up. You couldn't even watch the game if you were on the bench.
Yeah, you had to set up a little.
Wow.
I don't know how they did it for y'all, but for us, they put it like a little piece of tape on the police tape. They would put that up there. You'd have to sit with the crowd, and the crowd would just talk to you and try to get your personal information, try to be friends with you. The DJ would be at the south end of the end zone. The north end was all this big block of a wall. It was, and then the turf was like from 1978 when Miami Dolphins were still playing in the Orange Bowl. It was horrible. They literally had that turf from the time that they started up until they just stopped playing altogether.
Yeah.
It was horrible.
And somebody's probably still using it somewhere.
I wouldn't. I can't say that. You know what? I don't miss AstroTurf. I used to tell my family, like, that was one of the best times playing. But now that we having this conversation, I don't miss playing on AstroTurf at all.
No, I remember my rookie year whenever I was playing in NKY and Canton got the Voodoo's turf.
That we had to spray paint black because we was going to get in trouble.
Correct. But I was so excited. I'm like, yeah, sweet. I'm going to play on arena turf. I'm playing on A1 turf. Man, I sneezed and I got turf burn. Like, that turf was so brutal. Like, after the first half, I'm like, I'm not cutting anybody anymore. I'm not going to the ground.
No, see, that's and when you go to like the Gladiators games, they had that new soft cushion turf. I was like, oh, why couldn't we get this? Like,
yeah, Voodoo got rid of that turf in time because that stuff was like fiberglass. That shit just shredded you.
Now, while we're on the subject, was there anybody that you couldn't stand in the Arena League playing against? Like, you just don't come to me, don't come near me, don't talk to me. Like, was there any kind of person like that for you in the league?
I'm not really.
Was you?
I had to imagine, like, I was probably mostly that guy just because of the way I played, so I didn't really have time to be worried about what nobody else was doing.
Who was your favorite quarterback? Any level, college, high school, pro?
Probably Ray Filyaw, the first Chicago quarterback I was with. He threw some good balls, man. And as a quarterback, he liked to spread it around. He didn't really, some of the quarterbacks, they just had their guy they like to go to. Ray just kind of threw to the open guy, which was awesome.
And for those of y'all that don't know who are watching, Raymond Filyaw is the meanest looking quarterback. Like when he put his helmet on and his shoulder pad, he looked like he would just take your lunch money just cause. But he was a damn good quarterback. When he came to Cleveland, like I was like, yes, we got a shot. And then they got rid of him for Dutton. I have no ill will against Dutton, but I just think for the style of play that the Gladiators had when they first got here, they should have kept Philly on. That's just me.
Oh man, I agree, Romeo.
I like if you go back and look, even when he was with Chicago, the Predators, he was like that guy. Like you couldn't stop him from throwing the ball. Like he would take a hit and that ball would still come out smooth. Like that's the kind of quarterback you should have on your team. And
the crazy thing is, like you get quarterbacks that throw the ball hard. You know what I mean? And as a receiver, you can tell they just throw the ball hard. The ball don't really spin as much. His ball rotated a lot. It had a nice spin to it. So when you caught it in your hands, it's real easy to catch. And always on time. Just right in your hands.
Shout out to Ray Phil, y'all. We miss you, man. You need to be back coaching somewhere where we can see you because you deserve it. Now, I'm watching the ending seconds of this, and Orlando's trying to make a comeback, but clearly the game's out of reach. Were you celebrating early, or did you just wait till, you saw all zeros?
I mean, in arena football, there's a point when you can celebrate, and there's a point when you can't, and that point is usually a lot later than in regular football. As long as because you can put up 21 points like that.
Yeah,
you can score a touchdown and then score on the kickoff, and then oh shit, we're in a game. What just happened?
Thanks.
Because you can go back to the 90s and ask the Detroit Drive about the Miracle Minute. I'm pretty sure this guy's still mad about that.
Oh yeah, it can get nasty for you real quick. So arena football, there's no real excitement until that shit says zero. And I think maybe the year before that was the year against San Jose. Well, we was up by 21, and then guess what happened? They scored a touchdown. Okay, now we up by 14. Okay, then I got their fans too. Oh, their fans were something else. They could talk shit. Ooh, they could talk shit. So I was getting into it with the fans. Bro, I'm getting into it with the fans, right? And one of these fans said some shit to me, and I flipped him off. And then I get the ball off the net, and I fumbled that shit. And then they scored again, and then they kick an onside kick, and I muffed the onside kick, and they got that shit again. And I'll never forget that game. It was like one of the worst minutes I've ever played in my life. I single-handedly clucked the whole game off in less than a minute.
Wow.
Man.
Well,
that's that quicksand moment.
So I'm not gonna hold it against you because it's happened to the best of us. I've given away a game or two, so it's more or less how you bounce back from it. And obviously you bounce back from it pretty good because you got a championship to show for it. What has life been like after football for you?
Oh shit, jobs here and there. Right now I'm kind of working on just being sustainable. So I got let me turn this camera around. I got the different trees, apricots, plums, pomegranates, peaches, all that stuff. So man, I'm a farmer now. When you do that thing in 6th grade and shit, and it tells you what you're gonna be, and it tells you you're gonna be a farmer, and you like, man, bullshit, I ain't no fucking farmer. Well, I'm pretty much a farmer now.
I can tell you this, you damn sure ain't hurting your fruit.
No, definitely not.
That's and you're farming, you're boxing, like you are the ultimate peacemaker. You gonna take this
pretty
piece?
much?
Yeah. Which one you want? Now, do you still keep in contact with any other guys from the team? Like, are you guys still?
Some. Some, not really like that though, because they live in different states and whatnot. So we really don't get together all that often. But whenever they come in town or I'm in their city, got some people I can hit up. That's good people, that's for sure. Y'all remember James Barron, right?
All-time leading rusher or one of them.
Bruh, I'm talking about that boy was so bad. But anyway, he's been to the town a couple times. We linked up.
That's always cool.
Yeah, because Barron was, for him to be, I did kind of meet him once because we were out in Chicago and I think he showed up to a Blitz game, if I'm not mistaken. Now that I think about it, that was the worst arena to play in. The Odeon in Chicago is terrible. Playing on a soccer AstroTurf, all terrible. But yeah, for him to be as big as he is, James Barron was a nice guy. Like literally one of the most mellow giants. Because he wasn't even like he looked menacing, but he was really cool. Man, that's a guy I can have a beer with. And I don't even drink beer.
Come on. Yeah, other than that, keeping up with people online ain't the same as keeping up with people all the time.
Yeah. That's always the hard part.
Yeah, because I would hang out with George, but George lived in the woods. So I've seen enough scary movies to know I ain't coming to visit. I catch you in the city. And Ronnie had to go and move to the most expensive city in Ohio.
Yeah, Yeah, but some places, man.
Parking meters in Columbus are $1.
Yeah, minimum.
No quarters, not 50%, a whole dollar. Why?
Hey, but you can use a debit card though.
For what?
I don't carry change, man. I'm just saying. So that's very convenient.
It's a parking meter. Why do you need a debit? What is the world coming to? You need a debit card for a parking meter.
You know what? I'm gonna say this real quick though. I don't want to get too off subject, but like, I can't remember the last time I actually saw like physical cash. I just know there's some numbers coming to my account, and I'm paying those digital numbers to something else to keep my lights on, obviously. And yeah, and I got a card with a bank's name on it and my name, and I'm ordering stuff with this digital money, and I'm getting stuff. So it must be spending somewhere, man.
That's crazy. I have not. I never thought I would live in a time where I needed a bank card to pay for a parking meter.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. I'm a natural born fighter, so I still use cash.
Yeah, see,
I just can't help it. Like I just want to be that guy.
Hey, I'm with you on that one. I can't. I'd probably throw a fit if I had to use my bank card to pay a parking meter.
Yeah, it's bougie out here in Columbus, man. I ain't gonna lie.
Obviously. Meanwhile, Ohio State tickets are still $700 a pop.
Oh yeah, not since I was a player have I ever
That's
seen
incredible.
that. Crazy.
That's still the wildest thing ever.
Bro, the Ohio State Michigan game tickets are sold out for the next 2 years. How? Why?
That's wild.
And you telling me they can't pay players? Yeah, right.
Man.
Even the Pitt Panther me being in Pittsburgh, the Pitt Panther tickets are expensive, at least in my opinion. I mean, they're a Power 5 in the ACC, but it's not like they've done, unfortunately, much in the last couple of years.
Bro, they are not a Power 5. They are still in the Big East. If you pay attention to that team, that is still a Big East team that used to get beat on by Miami. It is nothing to be. I go to a Pirates game before I go to a Panthers game.
Oh, not a Pirates game. Oh, dang. Man.
And
you worried about getting jumped in the woods.
I'm really repping. I would go to a Pirates game. I would go to a Pirates game before I go to a Pitt Panthers game. You would never see me at a Pitt Panthers game. If they play Ohio State, I'll go to the bar and watch that.
I refuse to go to Pirate games.
Man.
It'd be more entertaining
man's
than
a
the
criminal.
Panthers game.
That's
Bro, the Panthers ain't been good since Mo Williams and Rod Rutherford and Larry Fitzgerald left. Other than that, can you name anybody else that's been back there that's worth talking about?
ooh. The
Dion
only
Lewis.
player I
That's
can think
about it.
about is Jabal Sheard.
Aaron, Jabal Sheard, Aaron Donald.
That's
Who
the
didn't
last person I
Jabal
can
Aaron
think
Sheard play?
about.
Donald.
Didn't he play for the Browns?
Who?
Yep, and the Patriots and the Colts.
Yes.
Yeah,
Jabal
decent
Sheard
career.
was my dude whenever he was here. He threw some dude through a fucking window.
Yeah, he was good though.
All
Him and
right,
Greg
enough of this
Brumbius were
Pitt
real good.
Panther talk. I too. Do you watch any other sports? Are you a fan of any other sports besides the obvious, which is football and boxing in some sorts?
Yeah, all the sports. I really hardly watch football anymore. The rules changes have kind of got me away from it a little bit, and I think just the amount of controversy around it and how much they play and how much they get paid is just so incredible to me. So I can't really involve and engage in it too much because it's just too much for me. The football is, but I can get into the basketball playoffs. I like to watch that. And really, man, I'm just always kind of out and about working outside and playing with my dogs to really get too involved in the sports anymore today, man. And maybe it's just a little bit of they don't do it like we used to type deal because the world has just changed so much. And because the world's changing, sports obviously have changed too. But yeah, I pretty much kind of don't really do the sport thing too much. I watch a lot of boxing, man. I like to watch people beat each other up. That's for sure.
Who's your favorite boxer then?
It was Floyd, and now it's probably one of the Charlo brothers.
I'm a De La Hoya fan myself, so that's as far as I'm going. I'm sorry, man. De La
So you
Hoya was
watched
that
that?
guy.
So you watched that ass whooping in slow motion and thought he was winning during the rounds?
No, I'm gonna be honest with you. The only fight that I watched of De La Hoya's that I really wholeheartedly disagreed with was that fight against Mosley, because I didn't understand the mathematics behind the judge's decision to give that fight to Mosley when De La Hoya was winning 7 rounds to 4, and I was like, okay, who's counting this? Because how you up 7 rounds and then you still mess around and lose the fight? That's never happened. I
tell you
couldn't
what, De La
understand
Hoya
it.
is a good guy to like, though. He did take the fights, and he pretty much took on all comers, so you can't hate him for that.
Hey, that's what you're supposed to do. I mean, and he got his money for it, so I'm really not mad at him. I
He
was just
damn
mad
sure
at
did
that.
get paid.
Yeah, that Mosley fight set him up really good because even though he lost it, in my mind, he won it. That was a hell of a payout. I wouldn't take no punch, but I wish I could get the money for pretending to take that punch.
There's plenty of guys that have gotten paid for pretending to take a punch, too. There's been some phantom knockouts for sure. People that just wanted to lay it down. They get scared. That's probably one of the main reasons I like boxing now. You go through that period where it's like, oh shit, something might happen, and it might not be good, and there's people watching. So that's always fun. I've been in the ring with a couple of younger guys, so that's able to get my kind of adrenaline turned up again. But it's only one guy trying to hit me, and he's only got his hands, so it's nothing like football, at least on an amateur level. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes sense. And have you played the mind games with them, like sitting in the corner, or just?
Oh no, no, I'm not that good yet.
All right. We got one or two more topics. George, I don't know if you want to do the Q&A or if we have anybody to do the Q&A with, but if we don't, I did want to ask your thoughts on, so you don't follow it, but what are your thoughts on the college playoff as of right now? Do you like it? Don't like it? Because I mean, when you were in college, I know they had the playoffs for the lower divisions, but for the D in division,
yeah, we had a 16 team. We had a 16 team playoff, and I think for 1A. That's too much. But I think they should probably expand it to 8 teams to be good.
I think it's at 32 now. I'm not sure, but I know Division 1 instead of 1A. That's how old we all are.
Man,
It's at 6. It's at 4 now. Do you think 4? They should have started off with like 6 or 8, or do you like that they left it at 4 for right now?
Yeah, four is not enough. I'd like to see 8. 4 is kind of a waste of time. Get in 4 more teams. That way you don't have any worries about who you left out. There's not that 15 that might be undefeated that you're going to put in a 1-loss SEC team over. You just get 8 teams. It's pretty easy, 4, get it, and then get it done instead of just pretty much the playoff they got now is just +1.
Yeah, I think 8 would be probably the best.
It's a compromise basically.
I think it should have started off with 10, make it even. Like that top 10 should have been in, but it's the NCAA, and we all know how retarded they are. So,
well, again, they're still their biggest arguments losing the sponsors for the bowls. But we all know
don't
that
have
they could
to
do
lose
the same.
sponsors for them, though. That's the thing.
We all know that.
They know that. They just want to pick an argument. Like, they know that. They just don't want – they want to pick an argument, in my opinion. They want to pick an argument because it's a lot easier to pick an argument than to say you're right. Like Atu said, it should have been 8. You should have started off with 8, and then the next year you move it to 10, in my opinion, because when you do that, now everybody that makes it in the top 10, you can't complain because you're there. So why pick an argument? And in reality, it'd be giving you more money because you got your bowls lined up. Everybody in the top 10 is obviously going to make it into a bowl game. So now that they're in a bowl game, the next couple weeks after bowl season starts, you know who's in, you know who's out. You're still making money. All you have to do is just find a good enough venue, and that's not, for college football, that ain't hard. So I think that they're stalling it because it's easier to pick an argument about it. I don't think there should be an argument. 10 teams, you in the top 10, you win. Shut up, let's play. That's just my opinion.
But doesn't look like we have any questions for E. So let's wrap it up. Let him go on with the rest of his night. Again, thank you very much for coming on. Yes.
Greatly appreciate it.
It was fun talking with you, man.
Brother.
Smooth Mel, we'll talk. Again, thanks for joining the round table. Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
We'll talk to you guys later.
Later.